Fellow Toastmasters, has there ever been a time in your life where you're going somewhere in your life, but then there's a sudden event where a turning point happens in your life, whether it's good or bad? It could be good or it could be bad, where you find a self-revelation about yourself. For all the mothers or fathers in here, it's when you found out that you were going to have a child, a baby. Or maybe it was when you found out that you wanted to go into business for yourself. Or maybe it was when you found out that you wanted to be a musician. Or maybe it was when you found out that you wanted to be a pastor. Or wherever you wanted to do in your life. There's a specific thing in our lives where there's a big turning point in our lives. And last weekend, I had a crazy weekend where I found out something about myself that it brought this sudden change in my life. As some of you all know, at the age of 2, I was diagnosed with autism. When the doctors told my parents that I wasn't going to be able to talk, read, be able to advocate for myself, let alone tie my shoe, or do anything. But thank God, I had a praying grandmother, and I had awesome parents that saw better things in me than what the doctors were seeing at the time. A crazy change in my life, where it looked like things were going to go downhill for my life when my parents had me, when I was diagnosed with autism. And as the years went on, as the days went on, as I was getting restrained, as I was struggling to find life, as people were just labeling me as retarded, that I can't do anything, that I was stupid, not good enough, that life was just going to be hell for me, I just continued on comforting myself, knowing that I have a disability. I have autism. Nothing good's going to come out of my life. This is my blanket. I'm going to comfort myself with the diagnosis, the label of autism. And we all have a label in our lives that we want to cling to more than ever. But as time went on, 2 years ago, I gave my life to Christ because I knew that there was more to my life than what the doctors were saying. And I knew that my life was turning around little by little after my grandmother passed away back in 2011. Last Sunday, I was praying to God out loud, just having a normal conversation. And then all of a sudden, I had this deep desire within my heart. God told me, Ryan, I want you to stop saying that you have autism. I want you to stop saying it. And I was just blown away because I was like, why? Because I healed you from it. I didn't just heal you from it 80% for you to keep the 20% to comfort yourself. I healed you from it 100%. Now is the time that you stop clinging on to a label, a diagnosis, and it's time for you to move forward with your life and start believing that I'm going to heal a lot of other people through you. And I was just blown away because I never knew that I actually didn't have it anymore. I thought that the 20% I could still cling on to, but God doesn't work like that. Jesus Christ goes all the way. He heals all the way, 100%. He doesn't go just 80%, he goes all the way. And people don't seem to get that. People think when you're healed from cancer, that it'll come back eventually. If you think like that, then you are going to get cancer again. If you think that you can't do something, then you're right. You can't do something. There's death or life in the power of the tongue. And some people don't seem to get that nowadays. What we call out, it's going to come back to us. If we call out that I'm healed, I'm great, I'm living life well, then we're going to live life well. But if we live life thinking that I'm disabled, I have a disability, I can't do something, then you know what? We're going to go down. There's power in the tongue. So I live life today knowing that I'm healed and I don't have to worry about clinging on to anything. I'm going to live life knowing that I have a calling on my life to be a light, a special shining light. Sorry that I'm spinning all over the place. But that I have a special light to shine on the autism community. And right now in my life, I know that I can still be a shining light to people with autism. I thought if I was 100% healed, that I couldn't be any value to people with autism. But that's quite the opposite. I can just give them hope and give them life by praying for them, believing that there's still the best yet to come. When the world sees a disadvantage, when the world sees a disability, when the world sees that I'm disabled, that's when God comes in and says, you are able, you have the ability, and you don't have a disadvantage, but rather an advantage to do great things. And I'm not saying that people with autism can't do anything. There's some great people with autism out there that have done well for themselves. Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, Albert Einstein, yeah, they have autism. Thomas Jefferson with the bird on his shoulder, he has autism. If you look closely at how these people have reacted throughout history, you would see that they have the symptoms of having high-functioning autism. But the thing is, if the grace of God were to be on them, then who knows, there could be so much more inventions. There could have been so much more great things that would happen. Because God wants to do great and great mighty things through the things that may seem small. So that was just an interesting turning point that happened in my life, and I wanted to share it out loud with you guys. Wherever you're at in life, wherever direction you're going, don't be afraid to have a turning point in your life, because there are going to be hiccups in our life. There are going to be these big explosive events in our lives that are going to make us come to a turning point. But the question is, are you going to speak out life during that turning point, or are you going to speak out death during that turning point? The choice is yours. Fellow Toastmasters.